Ready, hunt!
We kind of roll our sleeves up and go to work every training camp and get challenged as a coach. So no, I don't see it any different than any other year. Now we got a lot of inexperienced players. They got to learn how to play. But every year your challenges are different. We had some major challenges last year at this time, and we felt like we had some experience, but it was incredibly challenging. So, I mean, I don't feel that way at all. I feel like I got a job to do, and every year I've felt that way.
Jay, I know you had to be anxious to see what those guys had done with Landry over the summer, how much of the offense they'd kind of learned. What were your impressions of how far along those guys have come?
Well, I think collectively everybody worked very hard this summer, and it showed the first couple days of practice. Guys are in great condition, and they're excited to be out there. We don't really get to see them until really yesterday was the first day we got to see these guys on the field since we recruited them. So it was exciting to get them out there. We've got a lot of athletic ability. Almost every skill position that we brought new players in, there's more speed and more strength and quickness on the field. So that has changed. Our practice film is different than the spring, and that's exciting. And it's no different at the receiver position. We've got some young guys that are talented, that are learning what we're doing. The guys did a good job with them this summer. I think Kenny and Landry and those guys, the older guys, did a really good job kind of showing them what it's like to be here at Oklahoma, and what they need to do in the summer to get ready for a season. And they're continuing to learn. So leadership is going to be so important for this group. Guys like Landry and Kenny and Gabe Eichert and those guys really got to do a great job with their teammates and make sure everybody's in the fold and heading in the right direction.
A lot of people talk about leadership, and you obviously look at guys who've been here the longest, like Kenny and people like that. But is that something either you got or you don't? Can you learn to be a leader? Can you, I guess, concentrate on it more? Can you talk to a guy and say, hey, we need you to be a leader?
I think there's different degrees of it, to be honest with you. Some kids have a lot of natural characteristics of being a leader. Some guys learn it. Some guys are reluctant. Ryan Royals was really reluctant. He didn't want to be a leader for about 3 years, and then his last year, he just was. And there's all kind of leaders. There's good leaders and bad leaders, and some guys are leaders by default because they've been around for so long. But to answer your question, I think we have some good leadership. I think Kenny has grown and matured. I think he's got a long ways to go as a football player, but I think he's made a lot of strides, and I think that's been challenged to him. We had a long talk at the end of spring practice, talked about a lot of things, and just basically, took the gloves off of where he is as a football player. And I think he's got to be honest. Self-assessment is one of the most important things as a player. You better have really critical self-assessment to know exactly where you are if you want to be special. And he wants to push himself to the next level, and he's really at the same spot Ryan Broyles was a couple years ago. I mean, before Ryan had his All-American season, he is right there. He's played really well at times. He's shown special things, and then he's been inconsistent. And really good players aren't inconsistent. So he's trying to make that a part of his personality. He's been challenged that way. We need him offensively to be the guy that plays great all the time. And I think he's looking forward to that challenge, as is a lot of our guys. But I think Kenny definitely has some leadership skills. Obviously Landry does. Gabe Eichert, I think, is emerging as a real leader on our offense. And we need more guys. We need more guys to take ownership of what we're doing.
Jay, I think people
people see Kenny's flamboyance, I guess, for lack of a better term, the self-expression on Twitter, some of the free-spirited things he's done since he's been here, and they don't equate that to leadership. Maybe they see the guy can't be that way and then be the kind of leader you're talking about. Would you say that's fair?
I know this. Players look up to guys that are tough and that are dependable and that are accountable to each other. And that only happens in that locker room, and it happens in performance. Kenny's personality, that's his personality. I mean, I don't think he's ever going to lose that, but he does need to make better decisions at times and be more mature at times. And I think that's got to come from his maturity. The mistakes that he's made have been because of his lack of maturity. And, I think he's made several mistakes that other kids make, but I think he's becoming a different type of guy. And time will tell, time will tell, and we'll see. But I think he's definitely capable of being a leader. He's definitely capable of showing the right example, and we just hope he keeps on moving that way. He's going to be a leader either way. It's just whether he's doing it the way that we want him to do it. And so that's the challenge.
Can you talk about your overall skill level that you think you have, or your talent level that you think you have at receiver?
Well, the proof's in the pudding, but we have good athletes. We wouldn't have brought them here if we didn't think they were, and the kids are kind of what we expected. I mean, we like a lot of our young skilled players. The receivers and the running backs especially are strong and fast, and that's exciting. And especially the way we play, if we can integrate them in our system and have them have a role, they will definitely help us this fall. But that speed is showing up, and so it's hard to say until we get a little bit deeper in training camp, what type of role those guys have. The first couple days of camp, we're reintroducing our offense, teaching it newly to some of the new players, and then we'll start to see their strengths and weaknesses and then plug them into a system that we can play against people in the fall. So we're kind of trying out the parts right now and putting them all kind of different football type situations. But it's fun to watch because they're very competitive, very confident, and very athletic. And so that's, I think the running back depth that we've added will be significant for our football team. And of course, the receivers coming in are going to have to be a significant role to what we do. Our offensive line has been excellent in showing leadership all summer. And we're going to have to lean on them up front. That's going to be really important, and our quarterbacks as well. So, those are the strengths of our offense up front and at the quarterback position. And we got a lot of young, athletic, enthusiastic athletes that are ready to plug in our skill position. So they've got to upgrade and improve what we do.
All right, guys.
Thank you.